5 players who made it in the Premier League from non-league sides. As Pelly Ruddock made it all the way from non-league football to the Premier League with Luton Town, it is sure to have motivated hundreds of footballers toiling in the lower leagues. It is a truly inspiring story full of hard work and perseverance, but there are several other stories of players going from rags to riches, with one player on this list making their way from being paid £20 per week to being bought for £25 million. So let us look at 5 other players who started off with non-league sides and proved their mettle in the Premier League. Let's go. Jamie Vardy. Let's start with the OG superstar who started toiling in non-league football before his heroic Premier League stint. A Premier League career that started at the age of 27 had already seen him work his way up playing for non-league sides like Stocksbridge Park Steels and Halifax Town. He also had a day job making medical splints to balance his finances, and there were rumors of screenwriter Adrian Butchert, who created the Goal film series, thinking of turning his inspiring story into a film series. "It's the kind of story that if we made it up, people wouldn't believe it," he said. His spell at Leicester started in 2012 after Leicester paid Fleetwood Town £1 million for his services and saw him win the historic Premier League title in 2015-2016. Despite the Foxes getting relegated last season, Jamie Vardy has stayed put, and who knows, he might inspire Leicester City back to the Premier League at the climax of his adventurous career. Max Kilman. An interesting rumor came up in July as Napoli was reported to have bid £30 million for Wolves defender Max Kilman, with Wolves holding out for £35 million.
What a moment! Max Kilman!
It's reported that his previous non-league side, Maidenhead United, could have gotten a whopping £7 million had he moved to Italy. Another fascinating thing about Kilman is that he is the only international futsal player ever to make it as a Premier League defender. Interestingly enough, he also appeared both as a non-league footballer and a Premier League footballer in 2018-2019. As the 26-year-old continues to impress, he might get a move to the top 6 side in a career that has already been full of excitement and incredible achievements. Ashley Williams. Being released as a 16-year-old by Wolves and only signed by non-league side Hednesford Town might have seen some players get disappointed and lose hope of making it to the top, but that wasn't the case with Welshman Ashley Williams. He would soon sign for Swansea, helping them to a Premier League berth. Rumors of a move to Arsenal represented the quality Ashley Williams offered Swansea week in and week out. He soon went on to win the 2013 League Cup with them before having spells with Everton and Stoke. The proud Welshman also managed to represent his country 86 times and even led his side during the Euro 2016 event, where they famously reached the semi-finals only to be knocked out by Portugal. Jimmy Bullard. Do you remember Jimmy Bullard's famous imitation of Phil Brown's Hull City team talk against Man City? Well, how can anyone forget?
From the spot, how fortune changes. A year on at Eastland.
In fact, that iconic celebration made it to the FIFA games too. Anyway, like most on this list, Jimmy Bullard also worked his way up from non-league sides like Corinthian, Dartford and Gravesend and Northfleet before getting his chance at Harry Redknapp's West Ham. Unfortunately, he was again let go with players like Joe Cole and Carrick ahead of him in the pecking order. Determined to prove his ex-employers wrong, Bullard again worked his way to the Premier League with Wigan Athletic, earning 2 promotions in 3 years. Next came spells at Fulham, where he earned 3 call-ups to the national side, and Hull City, where he earned a £5 million move. Unfortunately, his knee always remained an issue for him, and he had to retire at 33. He did host Soccer Saturday for a while too, showing his infectiously positive personality to the world. Yannick Bolasie. It is truly strange to realize that the inventor of the Bolasie flick went through non-league football without getting his leg broken. The French-born winger started his football career with Hillingdon Borough before moving to the Maltese Premier League. It is said that he was paid a burger for every goal he scored, and once he scored 8 in a single game, sharing the burgers with his teammates. Spells at Plymouth Argyle and Barnet toughened him up for a spell with Crystal Palace, where he made a name for himself, creating compilation-worthy performances week in and week out. The £25 million fee Everton paid for Bolasie seemed fair at the time, as someone who wasn't even paid £20 per week went for such a price, but due to injuries and poor form, Bolasie could never reach the heights of his stay in London. Bolasie has always remembered his non-league roots, training and mentoring non-league side Spalding United, and also lending support to his ex-side Hillingdon. Honorable mentions. The story of Ian Wright is also an inspiring one. The Arsenal legend started off in non-league football with spells at 10MB and Greenwich Borough. As he turned 22, a trial at Crystal Palace changed his fortune, and 287 goals in the Premier League followed for Wrighty. Talking of legendary Premier League forwards, Les Ferdinand's road to the top was also filled with the struggle of non-league football.
Ferdinand's hit!
Spells with Viking Sports and Southall earned the attention of QPR, from where the professional career of the legendary forward never really looked back. Every single story on this list shows the value of perseverance and hard work, as players who were initially deemed not good enough then went for millions. Is there any other non-league player who made it big in the Premier League? Let us know in the comments below.